voluntary workouts, but you had a good number of veterans here today. What does it say about the guys that came out? And there were some guys that we didn't see as well.
So there's a lot. So, some guys are nicked up, and we understand that. So probably it's about 7 of them missing. Probably 5 of them are probably nicked up a little bit, but we understand where they are in their training, and we keep in contact and everything else. So the turnout we had today was great, and it gives the guys a chance to get more reps and get the system down.
Would you expect to see Haason Reddick during these OTAs at all?
I'm sure one of these days we'll see him.
Coach, what do you want the players to get out of these workouts, and what do you want your coaches to get out of them?
From a coaching standpoint, we're trying to make sure they're fundamentally sound, they're where they're supposed to be, they're communicating, and they're right. From a technique standpoint, from a player-wise standpoint, understanding the scheme and being able to do your job and have all the answers to the best of your ability, the best of your knowledge, and get out of that. So when everybody gets to camp, there's clean competition.
But you're saying nicked up, is that lingering injuries from the end of the season last year, or is it just like some dings from training out here?
Some are, some aren't. It's a little of both.
Coach, do you have any positive news on Chris Godwin, just his general recovery at all?
Not really. He's working hard. He's coming around. We'll see more when we get to training camp. We're hopeful of week 1, and, nothing's really changed. But if anybody can come back and play, it's going to be Chris.
Looks like defense won the day today, obviously. It is what it is. But were you guys doing live call-up periods toward the end there?
No, we didn't. We had everything scripted the first week. We haven't gotten into that yet. We still have some fundamentals and some things that we need to work out before we get to that.
Not in pads, but SirVocea shows up, getting his hands on footballs and interceptions. Is that just kind of what he's done since he's been here?
He's been like that the last couple of years. Just got to keep him healthy. We feel like he's a lot healthier going into this season than he has ever been. So, knock on wood, if he's healthy, we think we got a heck of a player.
Todd, you talked about having kind of a eureka moment down there at the NFL annual meeting. Was that maybe getting the secondary together? Is that's something that's a bit new? You're having your safeties and cornerbacks in the same room and watching film together and all that?
No, that's not a eureka moment. They've been in the same room quite a few times. The eureka moment is figuring out what you want to do schematically for the next year and trying to put all the pieces in place with the coaches and understand what we want to do going forward. That was kind of the eureka moment. It wasn't anything flashy to say we're doing this or we're doing that, but kind of how we want to attack the season differently and what we want our guys to look like when they play.
Speaking of the secondary, they got their hands on a couple balls today. Zion McCollum, Jamel Dean. Is that what you want to see? Just more pass breakups, more interceptions, just continue to hone that craft?
I'd like to see more interceptions. We've been breaking up the passes, so we got to come down with them. But, it's day one and shorts and T-shirt. I'm not going to give the offense credit, so I'm not going to give the defense credit.
How would you say Josh Grizzard is coming along? I know you said everything was scripted today, and during these off-season workouts, the OTAs, are you going to do anything just live?
You mean live from a call-it period?
Yeah.
That would probably be next week. It won't be anything this week. It'll probably be next week. We have some fundamental and technical things to get out the way before we start getting into those type of things. But he's come along fine. He's very calm. The coaches have been together for a little bit, so that helps too. So he's doing great.
Were you pleased with everybody at their conditioning today?
Yeah, so far I'll go back and look at the tape and see.
Todd, I think you had 6 offensive linemen that weren't going today for one reason or another. Are there any of those that are concerns that they wouldn't be ready physically for the start of training camp?
Not at this time, no.
Jalen McMillan really came on in the second half of last year, obviously, but now that the wide receiver room is even more crowded, what can he do? What can he work on to continue to show his worth?
Just keep mastering the offense. Obviously, it's always a route thing, getting all the routes down. That's for all the receivers right there. But he has a good grasp of the knowledge of the offense, and that'll help him play faster.
Coach Bucky emerged as the starter running back at the end of the season, and his production is what it is. You needed all 3 of them, right? And Rashad has a big role. He tweeted out or on Instagram and said this was last ride. Do you know what that means? Are you concerned whether or not he'll accept the role as a non-starter? Or?
I don't know what that means. I don't have Twitter, first of all, but last ride for me is kind of like the Magnificent Seven and, going into those type of deals. But I don't know what different things mean. I think Rashad's been here. He's been great. He plays hard. He practices hard. We're going to need all 3 of them. And I'm not really into tweets, so.
We've got the rookies in the building for a couple weeks now. What's stood out to you about them? Who's kind of stood out compared to other draft classes we've had recently?
I don't know if anybody stood out because they're all learning right now. You know, they're learning, they're conditioning, they're getting it mixed in with the vets from a sprinting and lifting standpoint. They're in the same room, so they get to see how things go from a smooth standpoint. The biggest thing for the rookies right now, we're trying to get them all up to speed on the same page, so when they get to training camp, they're on the same ground and they can compete.
How do you view Tyke Smith's position right now? Is he sort of all in at safety for now?
He's a safety, but he's always a nickel. So depending on the game, he gives us a variety to do different things, and you know, we'll see as it goes. But he's playing safety right now, but he's taking reps at nickel as well. So
Who will be competing for that nickel job? What are the players there in that spot?
I mean, all of them. You got Tyke, you got Parrish, you got JJ, you got Zion. Depending on how the team shakes out and what kind of mix we have, they're different type of players. You got Izzy. We got a bunch of nickels right now. You know, we need safeties and corners. We got about 4 or 5 guys that can fill that nickel role.
Speaking of safety, is that a position where you look at and, you know, use this time to look at the guys and if you feel like you need a veteran, that's a position that you could address there?
It's something you look at. You know, it's got to be the right fit and everything. But we like the group we have right now, and we're going to go with those guys.
Todd, Levante had a sit-down with Gruden on Barstool Sports. He confessed that when you and Bruce came in, he was fed up with the Bucs. He was going to leave. He was tired of losing, tired of coaching changes. He credited Bruce with talking him off the ledge and saying, hey, we're going to win. I want you to stick around. Were you part of that sales pitch at all?
I remember us having a conversation because he hadn't played in the 3-4 before, so he was very skeptical of playing the Mo linebacker position. And I told him it was pretty much just like the 4-3. It was just a difference of it. And with Bruce talking to him, then he having to sit down with me as well, and we talked scheme-wise. He came in and brought in, and he kind of took off from there. So, you know, it's a credit to him being able to play in various schemes, different types of schemes, and change his game, whether he's a dropper in the cover 2 scheme, whether he's a blitzer in our scheme, or whether he's a cover guy. That's a credit to him being a good football player.
He also said that he'll wave you off sometimes when he's got the green dot. You're giving him a call, he'll just be like, I got it.
He waves me off, I give him the finger. We kind of work well together. So. But that's never happened. I was joking, in case anybody wants to put that in there. It was a joke, okay? It was a joke.
Coach, the competition at cornerback that you have, can you feel that in the building or on the practice field? Yeah, do you feel that energy of a lot of guys competing?
Well, you can feel it after draft day. You know, you come back in here, you draft 2 players at your position, you better be on your job. So I was expecting to be heavy competition in camp.
I think real quick, Simeon Rice was inducted into the Bucs Ring of Honor, will be in the Cardinals game. What do you remember about him as a Buccaneer and as an Arizona Cardinal when you were in the league, you know, coaching, watching?
I remember him more as a Buccaneer. He was a hell of a pass rusher. I mean, they had guys that can really get after it back then, and he was a big part of it. He had some hellified stats for years to come, and, you know, he's exactly what you want. He's tall, he's long, he's lengthy, he could run, and he could turn the corner. Thanks.